Hey you guys, welcome back to my video. On today's video, I am talking to people who don't have a job, get ready for an interview, um, people who just starting out and this will be your first job. I'm gonna tell you guys how to prepare for an interview, and Lord knows I have been through a lot of interviews myself, and I wish people would put out videos cater to reality of interviews than just saying do this type of video. You get what I'm saying? So I am here to help you guys, and I truly hope you guys get the job you are seeking. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, all of those good things. And yeah, let's get straight into this video. Okay? With anything in life, you always have to do research. Anything you want to join, you have to do research on it. So getting a job or preparing for an interview is no different. You always have to do research on the industry you're about to conquer, and also the company, because some jobs they will ask you what you know about the company or what makes you think you're a good fit for this company, and that is an important question because they do ask that. And sometimes a job will do like a quiz interview, basically trying to see have you did your research before you apply with the company. And sometimes when you get that interview date and time, they also send like videos, or they also send like frequent asked questions that you have to look over. And sometimes they test you off the video that they sent, and sometimes they test you off the frequent asked questions that they send you. Yes, I have had multiple interviews, and they have been led different ways. So it just depends on what company you're going for and what position you're going for. Now, when it's a management position, they more than likely will ask you about the company, what makes you a great fit. They surely want to know your background and all of that stuff before they go into actually asking interview questions. Um, I think what I will suggest, if you guys have like selling points, like at this point you have to sell yourself, the reason you want the job. You get what I'm saying? And at this point, at least have like 3 to 5 of selling points and money, and make sure that's not one of your selling points, because sometimes when you go in and say I really need this check because I got this to take care of. Everybody got bills to take care of, but don't make that your main focus when you trying to build around your selling points. You get what I'm saying? And one selling point that I always use is good communication skills. And I wish I could tell my personal life this, because my communication sucks. But when it comes to my business, my money, my communication is on point. You get what I'm saying? Because I don't never want it to be a miscommunication when it comes to getting my money. You get what I'm saying? Or getting that job I really want. Um, Another thing a lot of interviews go towards is concerns or reservations. You got to come up with ways why the interviewer would not want to hire you. Like, what is one concern? What is one reservation that a manager might look at you and say, I don't think she is ready for this job? You get what I'm saying? What in you is like a bad quality to have going into that job? Um, and sometimes, like I said, they do send you like common interview questions. What are You have to prepare yourself for those common interview questions. And like I said, I am trying to find a good website I could use to link below for you guys, where it will have like all the common questions. Because when I was interviewing for getting ready to be interviewed, I had someone send me, well, my teacher sent me like a whole list of questions they might ask. And honey, they do not think they won't ask you certain questions, because they will. Now what I will say, is the main two that I feel like, or number one and number two is one. Um, what's the first one? Girl, get your life together. Tell me about yourself. That is like the main thing. Even when you going into to get a interview for a certain school, they will tell you, tell me about yourself. I mean, they will ask you that. So I always go like halfway in depth of myself, but I always will go in with the concept of this is where my selling points come in. Because sometimes you can tell yourself, you can tell about yourself by by your body language, and also they listen to what's coming out your mouth. You get what I'm saying? Your body language is the biggest I'm gonna tell you about me. Okay. Another thing is, why should we as blah blah company hire you? What makes you different? Like, what can you bring to the team that we already do not have? You get what I'm saying? Like I said, be prepared. Do research. Um, do research on the company to the fact that you can ask them questions about the company. And this, you asking them about the company or about the position, it shows that you're interested in that position. I don't care if it's stocking shelves. Ask them how you guys like to stock your shelves. Do you like to move everything up front, then start stocking behind, or do you like to push everything back and stock behind? Just ask them questions to show them, hey, I'm interested. I need to know. But when it comes to asking questions to let the interviewer know you're interested in the position, never bring up money. Okay? And I know a lot of people like, girl, what? My money's important. I understand it, but when you're in a interview, don't bring up money unless the interviewer bring up money. You're gonna get paid this amount of money for bi-weekly or every Friday or every Thursday, then that's fine. But don't be the first to bring up money. Cause when I was starting out, I always thought, okay, we can ask all these questions, but these questions really don't matter to me. I'm all about my paper. So, but don't be like that, because they could like say, oh, well, she won't care about our customers. She only cares about the money, and they won't hire you. But you can't ask those questions when they say, we'd like to extend this offer to you, and you say, yes, thank you, blah, blah, blah. Then they'll ask you, do you have any final questions for me? And then that's if you have any questions about pay, about insurance, about all that stuff. They either gonna answer the question or they gonna lead you to the right person who can, and most likely it's gonna be HR. And some of the questions that you think that the interviewer will ask you, this is where your family comes in, and you can have like that strict person in your family ask you these questions where you can practice your answers, but also don't go into the interview and sound like a robot. You get what I'm saying? Don't sound like you been rehearsing 10 days just for this interview. Even though sometimes you probably have, but never let the interviewer know, like, hey, you kind of sound robotic. You get what I'm saying? Never do that. So that's how you have to practice your answers. Sometimes you might not word that answer like you would if you was practicing, but just know you hit the key points. You get what I'm saying? But I do want to let you guys know, you probably have a 30-minute interview, but those first 5 minutes will determine if you got the job or not. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. Now the 30, because I feel like you'll be talking 15 minutes and they'll be talking 15 minutes. Or you'll be talking 25 minutes and they'll be talking 5 minutes. But you have to understand, the first 5 minutes of interview is your selling points. So you have to sell yourself. The first 5 minutes of your interview should be the wow factor. Well, maybe they would be a good person to put into this position. Um, and they already made up their mind. And you really, the first 5 minutes can be just you sitting there listening to them talk about the company, talk about the position, talking about the pay. But you got to understand, they started watching your body language. They started watching like, I don't think she want this job, because you be looking all over the room and you be like, oh, why am I here? This job is not for me. My mama just had to make me get a job, or my dad just had to stop paying tuition. So just make it seem like you're paying attention, but don't make it seem like you're over jealous for the job. You get what I'm saying? But just know those first 5 minutes is what's going to steal their hearts on getting you this position you want. So, another thing I want to kind of put in you guys' head is that getting this position is kind of like tug of war, where you each ask each other questions just to see, cause sometimes, an interviewer might think that you're perfect for this job. But if you sit there and don't ask questions and you get started with this job and you assume understand, okay, this is not the job for me. So that's where the tug of war come in with the questions back and forth. You get a question, they give you a question, but never break into a question fit when it comes to them in the middle of interviewing you. They will give you that chance to say, hey, do you have anything for me that I can answer? So that's when you jump in with your question. And again, that's where the research come in. So do your homework on the company that you're trying to get in. I really don't care if it's McDonald's, Wendy's, Sonic's, whatever. Just still do your research and see, hey, is this the job for me? And ask those pertinent questions that you might have. And sometimes, like I always say, we do come around. We do have interviews, and then we leave that interview, and then more questions come up. Sometimes that person who's interviewing you does give you like an email address or a phone number where you can call them back and say, hey, I got this question, can you help me with it? And they will be willing to help you. But like these big Fortune 500 companies, sometimes they don't give you email addresses and phone numbers where you can call them back. And again, that's where your research come in. Write your questions down. Take that paper with you to that interview. Take a pen with you to that interview. It doesn't matter. It just shows like, hey, I didn't come to play. I need a job, and you the person to give me that job. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, you have to be assertive. You have to be responsible. It's your responsibility to ask all the questions that you need to ask them. It's your responsibilities to sell yourself to that interviewer. Don't wait to be asked some questions. You know what I'm saying? Ask them questions. You don't always have to wait. And sometimes you go in and say, well, I was doing research last night and this is what I have to ask you. Just be one-on-one with that person. You guys have to be on the same page. And that's how you can get your offer. Sometimes, even though I know they say they don't procrastinate is not the right word. They don't judge you, but you will at some point in that interview. Sometimes, not every interview, they will ask you certain questions that are inappropriate, and you have to be able and ready to answer those questions. And if you're not comfortable, just simply say, I'm not sure how that's relevant to my application. And sometimes they'll go in depth of why they ask you that question. Especially being in the LGBT community, they do not have the right to ask you that. But now I notice, like, they ask you which one you would be preferred to call. How do you label yourself? She, her, um, he, him, they, them. Um, they ask those questions now. I noticed that a lot because when I interviewed someone for a nursing position, yesterday, or was it 2 days ago, I had to. They give us like a list of questions we have to ask you guys, and I noticed that they had the whole pronoun position that we had to ask the employee or the interviewee before we actually started the whole interview process. So that's the reason why I said just be careful of certain questions, because some questions really don't need to be asked, and you can stick up for yourself. And if they start asking you too personal questions, like I said, go straight back into, I don't see why that has anything to do with the application process. But sometimes, like I said, they will go in depth of why they asking you certain questions. Uh um Sometimes we have weak moments. Sometimes we have um positive moments. Like I said, always think positive. Whatever you do, always think positive. Don't go in there complaining. Don't dwell on negative moments. Like, they probably ask you something that you're not willing to answer. Don't dwell on that. Just keep it moving. Because sometimes that's probably a test question to see how your temper is. Because I know they asked me a certain question about my background and my family, and they just wanted to see how I could control my temper. For some reason, when it comes to the workplace, I could control my temper unless somebody step out of line. But when it comes to my personal life, somebody step out of line with me or say something I don't like, I can't control it. So just be mindful of something like that. Um, and always close on a positive note. Hell, even open on a positive note. Hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. And then when you're closing the interview, thank you for your time, thank you for your patience, and thank you for offering me the position. You get what I'm saying? Um, I always, even though now it's always the electronic ways of doing things, always bring a paper copy of your resume for you, for yourself, and for the person who's interviewing you. Because sometimes we as people, we forget all the jobs we done had back in 1999 or back in 2000, what job we had. So bring a resume that will help you. Yes, create a resume. And I know most of us, we rely on our phones. We rely on, hey, I started this job at this time. I started this job at this time, and then I quit this job. You get what I'm saying? Have a resume that explains your name, your address, your email address, how can you be contacted, and then go into what you did, how long you was there, and what was your position. You get what I'm saying? Make sure you have that resume in place. And also, I'm going to go back to the whole body language. Make sure you bring in your right body language. Don't come in looking all upside the wall while the person is talking like, bro, why am I even here? And then you laying over like this, or you looking like this, or even some people bring in their phone. Do not bring in your phone. But some people bring in their phone and be like, da-na-na-na-na-na-na, and they not paying no attention to the manager. And sometimes the manager would not say nothing, but at the end of the interview, you won't get that call back. I can promise you that. Also dress appropriately, make eye contact, have a strong handshake, good posture. Don't wear strong scents, because you never know that person that you're that's giving you that interview, they might be allergic to certain scents. Or you don't want the person who interviewed you to sneeze throughout the whole thing or cough throughout the whole thing, So be mindful of the scents that you wear, especially men's. Be mindful of that strong scent that you guys have. And women's, be mindful of that strong flower scent. So just be mindful of that. And like I said, I know sometimes we really don't want to, but just get that person email or something that you could contact them by. You can call them and say thank you. Or you can send them thank you notes, and just in case you don't get that job, still send a thank you note, and just don't give up. But if you get that job, still send a thank you note and enjoy your job. You get what I'm saying? And if you guys are out looking for jobs now, let me know how that's going. If you guys want more in-depth conversations about preparing for an interview or even just getting a job, let me know in the comment section below, and I will do what I can to help you guys. But as far as this video, I am completely done with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are working hard in school and even in your career field, or even just to get money to pay for school. Um, so I hope you guys be safe out there. Do everything you can in your powers to keep God first. And I will for sure see you guys in my next video. Be blessed, guys.